Tuesday, August 13th is Vermont's primary election day. This is when voters will choose candidates from the Republican, Democrat, and Progressive parties who will appear on the ballots voters will cast in the November general election. Voters will choose one party's ballot. You won't get to vote for a Republican for one office and a Democrat or Progressive for another office. Those are choices you will be able to make in November. But the primary is the mechanism for sorting out which candidates will be on the November ballots. In most cases, and this year is no exception, there aren't many competitive races between two or more candidates vying to become the party's nominee for the various state offices. But there are a few, and we wanted to focus on one in particular to explain what voters in Bennington County need to know before checking a box or writing in a name. That would be for the race for state senate. Bennington County sends 2 senators to the legislature to represent the county. This year, for different reasons, both incumbents will not be returning to Montpelier. Brian Campion, one of the senators, opted not to seek re-election after serving several terms. And Richard Sears, who had been a state senator for over 30 years, passed away unexpectedly on June 1st. He had filed to run again for re-election, so his name will be on the ballot. Seth Bongartz of Manchester, who is currently a state representative from the Bennington 4 district that includes the towns of Manchester, Arlington, Sandgate, and a part of Sunderland, is seeking one of the 2 Senate seats in the election, and his name is on the ballot. But so will Richard Sears, even though he will, of course, be unable to serve if elected in November. So voters can write in 1 or 2 candidates, and there are at least 2 candidates who have announced their candidacies for the state senate. One is Rob Plunkett of Bennington, who works as a prosecutor in the Bennington County State's Attorney's Office. Another is Kate Seaton of Shaftesbury, who just announced her candidacy as a write-in on July 31st. Voters casting ballots in the Democratic primary then have several options for the 2 candidates they would like to see on the ballot. But in the event that Dick Sears finishes first or second, his name will not be on the ballot in November. Instead, the Bennington County Democratic Committee will meet shortly after the primary day election on August 13th and choose a candidate who will be on the November general election ballot, along with the candidate, which could be Bongartz, Plunkett, or Seaton. Party officials have said they prefer voters to make this decision. But there are indications that there might be other individuals interested in running for the state senate seat who would emerge during a meeting after the primary. One of them is Jonathan West, a member of the Manchester Select Board. There may be others. So it all gets a little confusing, and we wanted to help sort through some of that for voters. Bottom line, if you're voting in the Democrat primary, you can vote for 2 candidates for state senate. One of the names on the ballot, Richard Sears, won't be able to run in November. You have write-in choices, or you can choose not to write in a candidate. Meanwhile, on the Republican Party side, there is only one name on the ballot for state senate, Joseph Jervis of Arlington. Republican voters can write in a second name there if they wish, but so far, no other Republican candidate has announced a write-in campaign for the office. And there are no names on the Progressive Party ballot for state senate. Progressive voters can write in 1 or 2 names there. Cynthia Browning, a former state representative from Arlington and currently a member of the Arlington Select Board, is also in the mix for the state senate. She is running as an independent and will be on the November general election ballot. The rest of the ballots are fairly straightforward. Most offices only have 1 candidate on the ballot. The exceptions of that are the races for lieutenant governor. On the Republican side, John Rogers, a former state senator and former Democrat, is running for the Republican nomination for lieutenant governor. So is Gregory Thayer of Rutland and a former alderman from there. Thayer ran for the lieutenant governorship in 2022, but was defeated in the Republican primary by then state senator Joe Benning. On the Democratic side, incumbent Lieutenant Governor David Zuckerman is running for re-election, but is being opposed in the Democratic primary by Thomas Renner, who is currently the deputy mayor of the city of Winooski. On the Progressive ballot, Zariah Hightower of Burlington is on the ballot, although she is not actively campaigning for the office and is only there as a backup plan in case David Zuckerman doesn't win the Democratic primary race. There are also two candidates running for the governorship on the Democrat ballot, Esther Charleston and Peter Duval. The winner will get to face incumbent Governor Phil Scott, a Republican, in November. More locally, there are candidates running for the state representative districts around the northern end of Bennington County, but no competitive primary races. There will be competitive races, though, in November, which we will explore as that election draws nearer. Early voting has been underway for the past few weeks, and voters can stop by their local town clerk's office and obtain the ballots or wait until the actual primary day itself and vote in person. You should check with your town clerk when the polls in your community will be open. They will be open until 7 p.m., but some towns open the polls earlier than others. Voters should also check out their My Voter page on the website of the Vermont Secretary of State. Go to mvp.vermont.gov, where you can check your voter registration status, absentee ballot status, mail-in application and ballot status, poll location, elected officials, and your voter registration status. There will also be a sample ballot for the upcoming election in your district. This is a great resource for voters who want to check their voter status and a sample ballot that you will get when you go to the polls or vote early. Most importantly, we hope that you will indeed vote. Every vote does count, and every vote matters. So don't sit on the sidelines. You don't have to wait until Election Day to make your voice heard if you're going to be busy on Tuesday, August 13th, and may not have time to get to your town's polling station. Go to the town clerk or the My Voter page and take it from there. Thank you. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.